Hello, Joy Brooks from Email and Coffee. Born in St. Petersburg, Russia, she immigrated first to Israel and finally to Canada. My guest studied piano and music but found a career in IT. Eventually, she started her own digital marketing business. She's disciplined, self motivated, curious, conscientious, adaptable, and not adverse to risk, the very definition of an entrepreneur. And now, Talia Hasanov.
Hey everyone, Joy Brooks with Email and Coffee. I'm talking today with Talia Hasanov, a new friend of mine. Just recently met her, but she's been in the digital space for quite a long time. And now that I look at lots of pictures, I'm like, wow, I'm so impressed. So, Talia, tell me a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, who you are.
Hi, Joy, and thank you. Hi, everyone, and thanks for inviting me for this kind of firefight chat. And let's see what we can discover. So, yeah, I have been in digital space for very true, quite a long time, more than 17 years. And prior to this, I did a little bit more technical work, like development and databases and all the, stuff that men used to do. And diving into digital marketing, it was actually a great fit for my personality, I think, and skills. So overall, it's I love it. It's challenging. It's changing every time, but you have to be very analytical and creative. And this is again a great fit for my kind of skills and personality.
So, from your accent, we could tell that you have been born abroad. So, where were you born?
Really? No,
Yes.
no, but I thought I have an accent.
You have an accent.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So yeah, so I was born in Russia, in St. Petersburg. Beautiful city, very cultural, historical, and everything else. And this is where it's all started.
So you're born in St. Petersburg. You went to school in St. Petersburg, right? When did
Yes.
you you graduated from school there with a trade? Is that where you got your digital training?
Actually, no. I was studying learning music since I was 5, piano, and I did like more professional side of it. So there is like this concept you study, and then you go in. If you want to continue with like professional side of music, then you go to the next level. So I actually was graduating there. It's kind of, let's put it like music college. So after, if I stayed, then I would go to it's called conservatory. So it's like University of Music after college. So it's like a long way. So yeah, I left Russia in 1990.
1990. And did you leave on your own with your folks? How did you leave?
Yeah, my parents.
Your parents. When did the Soviet Union fall? Around that time?
Yeah, before. Yeah.
Before. Okay. Was that what was that like being in Russia when it went from, Soviet Social Republic to Russia?
A lot of people, they opened the border, so a lot of people left when they could. Yeah, because before they couldn't.
Wow. And when you're telling me that you were a pianist, it's interesting because it seems to be so, oh gosh, I don't know what, classic Russian for a woman to study something like that, either be a gymnast or a musician, something like that, ballerina. It's classic Russian woman. And do you still play? And I mean, being humble, do you play well?
I can play still, yeah, because music didn't stop there, right? So,
Mhm.
and since I don't know, my father in particular, he saw me like professionally playing or something, so I had to practice. Every weekend kids were outside. I had to practice 6 hours every
Mhm.
weekend and after school. So like really, I had no time to go out and play. So it was either homework or playing piano.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I can play. Yeah.
What's your favorite song? What's your favorite piece? What's your favorite piece? Like when you get on the piano,
Piece.
what do you always play?
What I can play those days or what I would play, this is different things, right? So to play what's my
Yes.
favorite, you have to really be in good shape, practice it, right? I really love Rachmaninoff. I would say it's my
I
favorite.
swear to God, I was going to say that. I was going to say,
Yeah,
do you play Rachmaninoff?
yeah. So I actually played a recital when I was graduating. I was playing concerto number 4, piano concerto. So it was, yeah, a lot of drama.
Yes. Yes.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
there's a lot to be said for Russian culture. There's a lot to be said. A lot. Did you did you um did you read, like, what did you guys read? Because when I was growing up, I didn't read this in school, but I read books on my own, and I had my Russian phase. So I read Dostoevsky, I read Tolstoy. Yes, I read Solzhenitsyn. I don't think you were allowed to read Solzhenitsyn, but did you, um, in Russia, did you study those authors? Because Dostoevsky to this day is classic.
Yeah, of course, it's Pushkin and Dostoevsky. It's all at school for sure, and then outside of school as well. So the culture was, basically back then, at least around, this time, probably people my age, a little bit, older, younger, a lot of them were mostly reading a lot because this was culture, right? More like cultural. It's not just a school, but you read basically to educate yourself. And also when you read, and you know that, Joe, right? When you read a lot, you also improve in language skills, right? The vocabulary and writing and everything. So you don't even think how to spell certain words or anything because Russian is pretty difficult language, right? So yeah.
Yes, it is.
Mm.
All I can say is da. Maybe niet.
Here, here you go. Here
I
you
can say
go.
placebo. So I can say yes and no and thank you or please or whatever. And that's it. Not a heck of a lot. So very, very. So you leave with your your dad. Where did you and your dad go to when you left Russia in 1990?
Oh, my mom as well. So it's my
Oh,
parents.
your mom is
So
still
we,
okay. Your
yeah,
mom's still
yeah, they moved to Israel.
okay. So where in Israel is it?
So it's like it was, I would say, it's between Tel Aviv and Haifa. But after we came, like months after, I
Uh-huh.
started at Jerusalem. So I was studying there actually at Academy for Performing Arts. So I have a bachelor degree for piano from there.
From there. Very good.
Uh-huh.
Now you're in Israel and did you speak Hebrew before you came over?
No.
Yeah, really. So now
Mm.
you're learning another language. Did you speak
Mhm.
English before you came over?
At school I was studying French in Russia.
French.
So
Okay. Well,
so
again, that's
English,
classic.
I went to course couple of months, but it was really in reality I
Mhm.
really didn't speak English.
So now you're in Jerusalem, where it's a lot of English speaking people in Jerusalem. So you're learning English, you're learning Hebrew. There's Russian people, so did you guys move into like a little Russian neighborhood, or did you know?
No, my parents were, where I mentioned, I was living in a dorm.
Okay, you were in the dorm. So you're at school and now you're doing these things. And how long did you stay in Israel?
Almost 17 years.
So you eventually learned Hebrew.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Right? Got you learned. And yeah, probably that's when you probably start speaking English as well. So, right? Because you're in a dorm in Jerusalem, a lot of English speaking people in Jerusalem.
Probably I didn't start speaking it very well then, but yeah.
Right. So, what first of all, when did you decide to go from piano, which is not, you'd say, oh, piano to digital? It's not as absurd as it sounds, because they're both the skill set is the same. It's programming. It's because you learn chords, you learn I learned piano too, and I wasn't very good at it, but I realized that there is mathematics behind the music, but it's musical mathematics.
You
And
know
from
what?
mathematics,
Yeah, so just to add a comment, because when we came here to Canada, I actually had a few students. It's called RCM, it's Royal Conservatory of Music here. So I had few that they were doing like high level exams and everything. So it's interesting stats actually that was published. Kids who study music in particular, any something to play like piano or piano in particular actually, or any other instrument, they are in general, IQ is much higher because the brain is engaged like when you have to learn all this. And nowadays, I don't know if you ever saw, especially in social media, sometimes they circulate. They say math is difficult and they put those, sheets of music notes, how you're supposed to read it. Like this is difficult because, how the brain works when you're supposed to, read this and memorize and hands supposed to play together than the rhythm. So it's like
now you've also
kids.
got your feet moving.
Yeah.
Your feet are also moving because you're hitting the pedals, because you can get variation on the same. It is obviously it's different than math, but somehow the logic is there. And while people don't usually think of math as being beautiful, mathematicians will tell you otherwise. And obviously, when you're writing music, there's a whole bunch of progressions that are going on. They're mathematical. You've got your chords, you've got your sharps, your all of these things, your flats. You've got all the progressions moving up and down the keyboard. There's a lot of things going on, and also if you're writing music that includes other instruments, now it's even multiplied by that. So there's something very analytical going on with music. And the true artists are able to do both, feel it emotionally, think it, and make it happen. Like they're, an actor emotes, right? But you're doing it while you're thinking of the next chord, it's just, music is fairly amazing in my mind. So you had mentioned Canada. So you were in Israel for 17 years. What made you move to Canada?
Okay. I don't think we want to go to politics
You're a criminal.
here.
You're a criminal now.
No, criminal. It's you can't, if you criminal record, you can't come to
You
Canada.
can't come to
But
Canada.
but yeah, I just there is quite many reasons, right, to this.
Right.
I just
So
don't
now
want to dive to this part now.
That's okay. So now you're in Canada,
Mm-hmm.
and when do you shift from music to the next level of Tali? Like, when did that happen? How did that happen?
So even after I finished and graduated, so there is like in Israel, the options really to work, it's not whole a lot for a couple of reasons. So either you do kind of, you know, private lessons, which is not really, you know, it could be done for fun, in my opinion, if you want a little bit, but it's not really, you know, career, in my opinion. Then schools really, it's not Russia. Let's put it this way, right? For culture perspective and everything, just to put it in perspective, right? So it wasn't something that I wanted to do. And I always had this also technical side and analytical, as I mentioned. So there was some, you know, process, and I actually graduated from another, it's like a technical college. I finished another program, and I did some development too. So this is how basically it all moved to the direction, right? So
Right. It's sort of like you
yeah,
fall into it, right?
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you say, I don't like this, and at that which point, and this is, you know, this is difficult for a lot of people who study one thing and are like, wrong. You say, well, what is right? If this is wrong, what is right? And that can be, that, you know, that can be difficult. It can be painful. Did you wonder, like, what am I doing? Like, where is this going? Like, you know, or was it just a natural thing for you and you just one foot after the other? Because some
yeah.
people are like that.
I would say it was natural, but what I wasn't completely happy is it, and it was all the time, is working like in, you know, in Israel. I worked for almost 6 years for the government, so in IT. So, and this was okay, but still, I had always this thought behind that I need to have, you know, or this vision that I have my business, right? So, but it was kind of, you know, then we moved, as I mentioned, here, and again, when I worked here for some quite large agencies in the beginning and some corporations, but it wasn't satisfying to the way I would like it to be. And this is basically how gradually it all moved to basically having my agency and my business.
You know, I would say that recognizing that you're a strong woman is not necessarily the easiest thing in the world. Sometimes when you realize, you know what, I'm pretty, maybe it's stubborn, maybe it's any number of words that are thrown at you, like in corporate, when it's just not working for you in corporate, and you're thinking, or, you know, I'm speaking from my own point of view. When I realized there's something wrong here, and it must be my personality, I don't fit here, and it's, you know, I'm too stubborn and I'm too strong, but I'm not disciplined and willing to give it up for anyone else. So I'm not a team player in an odd way. I need to pick my own team. And all of these things I'm realizing all along the way, and it wasn't until maybe last year where I, you know, all put it all together, and I was like, oh, well, this is what I was doing. It was a natural thing. I just had no idea that I was on the path, my path. So when did you decide to start the business yourself? And how did that work out? Like, was it like, bam, I'm going to do it? Or was it like, oh, maybe I'll do it next week. Maybe I'll do it next month. Maybe, oh, I'm doing it. And now you're putting it together. How did it all work out?
Yeah, it's for sure not an easy thing and decision. And it was even last few years before I started, even when I worked full time, I did periodically consulting on the side. And it's a difficult step to take when you have, salary and good salary, you have, family and kids. So it's not easy because you step in basically, you don't know what's going to happen, right? So sometimes people think that having a business, it's some dream and everything will happen as a magic. It's very hard work, right? Especially in the beginning. But and I don't get me wrong, I was getting different offers for full-time job when I just started and before, and then I'm tempted and was tempted really, because sometimes it's not easy, it's difficult, right? And I'm saying, oh, okay, so I don't need all this, headache, clients, this, that. You just go work and that's it. But then I'm sitting there and thinking, no, no, it's not gonna happen.
It doesn't last, it's like, oh, this is easy. I don't have to be that aggressive. I can, let them call the shots. But for some personalities, that gets old quickly. And I think that's the difference between people who are, well, I guess entrepreneurs. That's the first and main difference, right? It's when you want to constantly call the shots.
Mm.
And people like, boy, is she bossy. And unless you can back off, or it's really hard, because that characteristic of being bossy, it's a leadership quality, but other people, depending on how you deliver that, they'll say, oh, she's a great leader, or isn't she bossy? They called me bossy. Maybe they'll call you a leader. I don't know. But it's difficult to manage these qualities and get accepted, move along, be considered a thought leader. I mean, I don't know if it's. I don't want to say it's a women thing, because I would think that maybe it is a women thing. I don't know. Do you think that it's difficult? I mean, what's the difference between being bossy and being a good leader?
When you have your business, or like in general? I'm not sure I understand the question.
Well, when you decided, you're consulting, right? And you're thinking, oh, this is nice, I like this. But you're also, getting nice invitations to come to work. And you're thinking, oh, that would be nice too. So it's the same qualities that they see in you, whether, you're seeing them in yourself as a consultant. They're seeing you as maybe a manager or a director or whatever it is that they're hiring you for. But how do you see the same qualities
working for someone and having your business? That's what you're asking? Oh,
exactly.
Okay.
Because when you work for someone, you may think you're calling all the shots until they turn around and they say, oh, no. And that's the team player type of a thing. So did that ever occur to you that there's, that you were at that point where, no, I want to call the shots. I know what I want here. I can't, again, I'm projecting. What was the main feeling for you to consult and to take that, to become a business, your own business, instead of, I'll take a salary and I'll be fine with that?
Oh, because as I mentioned, I had it didn't start like 7, 8 years ago or 10. Like I always had this feeling that I should have my business. It just was, maybe not as strong many years ago as it was recently, right? And I tell you that I remember I worked. It was very big agency in Toronto. Probably was, I don't remember, 15 years ago. And the clients, it was like the campaign they were running, it was very, very multi-million dollar campaigns. But, you know, okay, I worked there, I lasted 6 months. So when I came to HR to say that I'm quitting, they were in shock because, like, really, like you quit from the salary and from, whatever that I was worth to, I don't know, whatever they promised me in the beginning that I would be doing. I was waiting for this, project. Nothing happens. Like I'm sitting there and I can't. Like you need to do, and some people, you will believe or not, some people have been working there years and they sitting there just, click and check, get and check. Nothing wrong with this approach as well. But this is the mindset, right? So I can't do this. It was like, okay, I think I gave it, a try shot. I came a few times to talk to them and say, what's going on? Yeah, wait, it's coming. And I said, okay, that's enough is enough. So, so this is one example, right? But in general, when you work for someone, you work for someone. When you have your own business, there is certainly more responsibilities and might be similar or different challenges, but you really don't need to give anyone, you do whatever. So if there is a mistake, it's your mistake. Yeah, you learn from this or whatever, but it's not that, someone is giving you shit or not, right? So it's different. And then also when I work in those agencies, it's always, I have a feeling, that nobody really cares about the client much. It's more about, closing those deals, campaigns, and everything could be done in much more efficient and better way. Instead of going, it was so funny, right? So let's say certain campaigns supposed to be launched, and it's like going for 2, 3 months from here to there without anything. Then last minute, something like, oh, we need to launch tomorrow, and all those tests and everything, and always there is a mistake. So like, how is it, dragging it for 3 months, then last minute, that's it, we need to launch, and there is mistake always. So it wasn't, from production to execution to everything, it was far from, being, I would say, efficient or productive. So I thought like it should be better, right? More for the client benefits. And some clients it's more difficult to work with, and some clients, it's easier, but still there should be interest. I find clients' interest first, right? And this is what we're trying to do, rather than, dragging it between 20 teams at the end. It gets delivered wrong, right? So, and it happened too many times.
Project management is difficult and part of, when you have an agency, you have an account rep, you have a sales rep, you have a project manager, you have a lot of different levels of people, and sometimes it becomes a mess where, sales may be driving it, where they sold the client something, the client wants it, and the people that are actually delivering the pieces are saying, we can't do this. This is not possible. Why did you sell this? And that can be very discouraging in an agency, at the agency level. So, I'm very project oriented, but, like, let's deliver something that that's sustainable. Let's provide a process. Let's, do something that makes some amount of sense instead of either just getting something done or doing exactly what the client wants, whereby they've been making mistakes all along, which is why they went and got an agency. And now the client is driving it and they're still making the same mistakes. And the agency is now a hand in that process. I mean, it gets kind of crazy. As when you opened your business and now you're getting your own clients, did you think about how large you wanted your business to be and where you wanted to stop growing your business?
So from how large the clients would be or how large the agency would be?
The agency.
The agency. I haven't thought about it, like when should it stop? But what I find part of the issue you mentioned, Joy, is because many times it's wrong people in the wrong seats, right? They not really, capable of doing things. And I actually faced a lot of challenges in the last year hiring. I don't know what's going on recently with, people. I hear it from clients. I hear it from, other people. Everyone is struggling with finding, right people to hire and to work and to actually deliver what they, seems like either culture changed. I don't know. But it's really, really difficult because I was thinking maybe I'm requiring, too demanding. Maybe it's me. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, right? So I'm not asking for too much. It's just to do your job in a proper way, right? To quality and everything. So if I can't send it to the client for approval, it means it wasn't done proper way, right? So, and I have been myself having quite many issues recently, and I know that a lot of businesses struggle with the same. So to answer your question, I don't have the answer because I need to make sure that I have enough good resources to deliver, the results that we promised and not the other way around, right? It's not just, go offer or sell or whatever, and then you don't have enough people to take care of the client. So it never happens. So we don't, the goal is not to grow aggressively, 500% a year, not at all. So it should be some, natural growth and progression, but to make sure that we have internal resources first to take care of the client. Because many times I had clients coming, they work, for example, with previous agency, and they say, oh, they never, never reply emails, never answer, never we want to have a meeting. They never, want to meet with us. So basically, I would assume because they have no, I don't know, no resources, or they don't have, I don't know, maybe it's culture as well, but it's just trying to get a lot of clients, but then, delivering.
It's growing too fast. And that's sort of what I said before. It's like if the salesperson is selling far more than what you've got, just for the bottom line, that's a problem. I mean, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And and agencies sometimes, it can be lean. It can be feast or famine. Do you find that there are some points where you're working like 80 hours a week, and then suddenly it's almost dry.
So to prevent this, you need to take certain activities on ongoing basis, right? So to prevent this dry or not. But I try, at least in the last 2-3 years, not to work on the weekends. I say, because there were a couple of emergencies with one client that I had to jump in, but overall it doesn't happen often. So I try not to work on the weekends and to plan everything. It's like with every business, right? It's not just agency. So
Right.
it's on top of delivering for the client. It's managing the business, right? So it's like any other business management, right? You need to make sure that it operates and you have certain strategies in place to prevent, either overflow or if you have nothing. So it should be certain activities because, for example, lead generation, right? Many businesses that we work with, lead generation sales, that's their kind of pain point. And this is what we help them through digital, right? But digital, it's the same challenges, right, with lead generation. So we need to make sure what channels used, and it shouldn't be that, oh, I have few customers or few leads this month means I can stop those activities. So it has to be done on ongoing basis.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you identify as a businesswoman, or do you just identify as a mom? All of those things. Does it bleed through? Are you like suddenly thinking like a corporate person when you're talking with your kids, or how does that work?
No.
You could turn it off. You could turn.
Yeah, I certainly could, and it's it depends what you consider a businesswoman, right? I find that any woman is businesswoman when you have to juggle work, even if it's not a business, you just work at a corporate or anywhere, work, family, kids, home. So it's like managing business, right? You have to manage all the channels. So it's like managing business.
It is, but sometimes it becomes well, I found it difficult to turn it off sometimes. And when I was socializing, um, I don't know, people would ask, "What do you do?" Right? And somebody would say, "Oh, I work for this company," and they'd be like, "Oh," they'd ask my husband, "Oh," and then they'd ask me, and they'd be like, "Huh? You're a consultant? What do you do?" And then I would tell them, and they would be like, "Huh?" So it was like there was no brand. They couldn't figure out what it was that I did. So I was I don't know how to explain it. It was kind of like, we don't know about Joy. Joy's just like out there. We don't know anything about her. But Harry works for Petro Oil. Yeah, he's a mechanic. We know what he does. But I was like this, eh? Do you find that with people? I mean, is marketing like that? Is it once I mean, if you're a coach, you can say, I'm a business coach, and people are like, oh, well, I didn't really know what that means, but she's a coach. But if you say, oh, digital marketing, they're mostly like, eh? What does that mean?
I find, digital marketing, those days, people at least have some idea. Some people think that it's social media,
I was going to say,
posting
oh, so you're
something.
a social influencer. No.
Yeah, but you know what, 16, 15, 17 years ago, it was when it was starting, right? It was like, internet marketing, and back then it was really, challenging to explain to people. Even those days, I mean, some people more advanced than others, it's natural, right? So they would understand. Some would ask what it involves, right? But I find, I mean, those days probably people a little bit more, understand more what it is, because nowadays businesses, they have to be online, right? So
Yeah. But I still, I still to this day, if I tell somebody, they're like, "Oh, so you do websites?" No, but I can. But no, that's not. Email marketing is this weird thing where they just don't get it. And even when I tell them, "Oh, you sign up for those emails, you get them on your phone, right? You get them on your desktop, right? Yeah. Well, I make them. Oh, you make them?" And they still don't have a clue how they're made. Not a clue. Not a clue.
you
I
know
mean,
what, it's
that's
interesting.
maybe my friends are dumb, but to this day they have. When my husband passed away, he still had no idea what I did for a living.
Yeah. So I actually done a webinar about AI last week. And some people attended, and then we had a chat with one guy. And I don't remember, because it wasn't just about email, it was in general how to use AI for digital, for channels and everything. And then we chatted with him about something later. And we switched speaking about email. And he's like, "Oh, I didn't know that email is so complex." So many people don't even realize, because even people that pretend to understand more and, being whatever, they think, "Oh, you just set it up, it runs and whatever. Why you would even charge money for that?"
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, I've got constant contact. I can do that. Okay, see you later. Have fun."
Yeah,
Yeah,
MailChimp, sure.
yeah, MailChimp. Yeah, it's nothing wrong with the products, but it's there's a lot. There's a lot involved. There's a lot. But there's a lot involved with website, right?
Oh, with
I'll make
everything,
my
of
own,
course.
right? And just the concept of digital ads, ad spend, um, you know, business metrics, and it blows your mind. There's a lot going on in marketing. Um, that marketing has so many different channels. I mean, a lot of things ended up in marketing that's not classic marketing. Um, you know, you've got advertising that ended up in marketing. No, advertising is advertising, but it's now marketing. Now, now it's all rolled into marketing. And for some strange reason, if you tell people that you're a digital marketer or you're a marketer, they think that you do it all, right? Like for some strange reason, you could do advertising, design, programming, budgets, all of these things that are different skill sets. So,
Yeah, but this is why when you have an agency, so we do it all, right? So we do, and we
right.
actually recently added a couple of new products. One is AI BA, we call it. So basically, we do kind of, we work with a client to identify what AI tools could be implemented, what would make sense. We do workshops to understand where, if they have repetitive processes, what tools we can implement to save some time and budgets for them. So this is one, and then business strategy framework as well. So, so because everything to do with digital, it's always we started from strategy first all the time. Because if you don't, tactics is very easy to pull in when you have a solid strategy as a foundation. Because if you go, for example, and say, "Okay, how about we do Facebook paid campaign now?" Joy, what do you think? Let's do Facebook paid campaign. Let's put something there, whatever. If our, audience there, I don't know, maybe yes, maybe not. Let's try. Let's throw, spaghetti at the wall and hope it will stick there. So, or let's do Google campaign. Let's put some budget, $500. Even if a click cost $50, we get 10 clicks. We'll see what happens. So when you have no clue where you're spending money and budget and why, and what is outcome or a goal, then it will not work. When you have a solid strategy, basically strategy is based on research, analysis, so preparation and the plan. So basically you have this blueprint, what should be done, what channels you should utilize, where is your audience, who is your audience, what they're looking for, what their pain points, what should be the message. So basically you have all the points laid down. Then you say, okay, even if you don't have budget as a business to start with all the channels outlined, it could be a phased approach. I personally love phased approach because at least it's proof of concept, right? We can start with phase one, for example, with 1 or 2 campaigns or channels, right? Pick it up for like 2-3 months. We see it works great. Then you can add phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, whatever phases was outlined in initial document, right? So this is crucial, I find, because businesses sometimes they don't want to spend money on this, strategy piece if done properly. But this could be crucial to save them money later on, because sometimes they think they heard something they need SEO, but they have no clue what it is, why they need it. Maybe they don't need it, or what it is. So
That's
when
what
you have this, yeah,
take them off the rails. It's like they go ahead.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. It's crucial part, the initial kind of research strategy and analysis to put together the proper plan. Because, for example, a house, right? Architects, they're not going just saying, okay, this is an available lot. How about we just start building a house here, right? You need some blueprint, you need some, project, you need something, some specifications, right? To do research, to work with the city, what size of the house, what you can build here, and etc., right? You're not just going to build whatever you want, right? Or you think you want. So, yeah.
There's a somewhat amount of discipline required to do the right things, and I don't always see that discipline. And that's usually where companies fail in their marketing, because they may come up with a strategy, and the strategy may have phases, and then they lose the discipline because somebody tells them something. Oh, you should be doing Facebook ads. So now, okay, we're going to now do Facebook ads. We're going to add that into phase one, and then they hear something else. Oh, we should have an app. So now we've got an app project going on, and it completely goes out of scope. And you've let go of the strategy because now you're doing a number of things out of step, without strategy, without proof of concept, and it's all going to fail. And then the client says, oh, another agency. Again, sometimes if the client drives it, the client was failing to start off with. So if the relationship between the agency and the client, or the client and their own department, if that relationship is not of a certain caliber, the right person talking to the right person, it's going to fail. It's the kiss of death, because again, you don't have your design driving the website, right? You have a strategy of what your website needs to do. You've got your developers ready to do that with whatever language. They could tell you what works, what doesn't work, how that will work, how expensive that would be, the load for that, whatever. But if your design is just driving it, oh, we're going to do this now. You're working against yourself. So sometimes Do you find that very frustrating in digital? I mean, that is one of my biggest frustrations in the digital realm. It's discipline. Again, I'm speaking from my own experience.
I have to tell you that discipline is actually the most important part for anything, right? Even for us as a human being, right? Oh, how
Yes.
many times, oh, tomorrow I start gym. Oh, I'm getting up tomorrow at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm running out. Oh, I'm on diet. I'm not eating sugar. I'm not. So how many times we hear all this? So this is coming back to discipline as well, right? So it's basically how you train your brain and yourself and habits, right? So I guess it is similar with corporations and clients. It's how to train them, right? So sometimes we have to tell them no. If they think that they should do something, maybe it's not the right client.
Right. And
right?
that's difficult. That's very difficult. Do you have you are you the face? You're the face of your company. I mean, how many people are in the company?
Yeah, I'm the face. So it depends. Like we have full-time people and we have part-time that they not, for example, websites, you're not developing a website, every day, a website to have a full-time person. Usually, well, we probably develop maybe one website a month. And we don't do websites just for the sake of the website. We only would develop a website if a client want to do marketing, because we're not web development company, we marketing agency. So and this is important because when we develop a website, it's actually based on certain research and everything and structure, so it's ready for marketing, right? So did I answer your question? Yeah,
I think
I think I think so. Yeah.
So it's often as I said, it was difficult for me to turn it off, and I think that's because that's the kind of mind I have, right? So I've got this analytical mind that doesn't necessarily work like everybody else's mind. While they're able to turn off work, it's not that I'm not able to turn off work. It's just that I still think in those disciplines and those steps and those, I think pragmatically. So I don't think of myself as, hi, I'm Joy Brooks, I'm an email marketer, because that's kind of silly. But I do think of myself as being that type of person. And, I don't know what the word is other than pragmatic. So that doesn't mean that you open my cabinets and everything is in alphabetical order and everything is as it should be. By any stretch, that's not the way it is. But I get bothered when things are not happening in the right sequence. I get very uncomfortable. I like routines. You can't just get me like, I wake up in the morning and I know what I'm doing. I look at my calendar. They may be personal things or private things. There may be work things, whatever. But I look at my calendar and I make plans. This is how I think. Do you have like traits? What types of traits do you have that match what you're doing in business? I mean, it is somewhat an identity. No?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I like I like routine to certain way to know. I do saying that sometimes I like to be spontaneous as well, and I do crazy things sometimes as well. But I get up at 5 every morning. So I have coffee and then I do my workout. So this is what we spoke about, right? So I do workout and then I'm going on my walk. So in the morning I have certain routine. When I'm on my walk, I listen to the audiobooks. Usually it's something related to either personal development, educational, something around this. So I'm like by 7:30 in the morning, I'm already ahead of some people didn't wake up even yet, maybe. By 7:30, I usually I start usually my work if I don't have any off-site meetings in person before 8.
Do you
Yeah.
what was I going to say? Do you are you a day person or a morning or a night person?
You
Or
know
both?
what? I don't understand this concept, to be honest. Some people say, "Oh, I'm not a morning person." I mean, I think it's all depends on how you set up your mind. I mean, obviously you can sleep until noon. I know I personally can't sleep until noon. After, having a habit of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, I just naturally, even weekend, I might sleep in, maybe until 5:36, maybe.
Yeah, I'm the same
So,
way. I consider that a morning person because
yeah,
I could stay up till 12 or 1 o'clock, but I'm not by any means thinking to myself, oh, let's do that. Let's go have dinner at 10 o'clock at night. No, that's not happening. So,
yeah, I do. I can go out sometimes late, but I'm not eating that late. It's like I just don't eat that late. But I can stay sometimes, occasionally until late. Yes. Yeah.
I I need at least 8 hours of sleep. I can work on 6. Um, I can manage anything shorter than that, but um, I can't do that every day. Now, when I was young, I mean, I would go out all night and then go to work the next day, having just taken a shower in between both activities. So, yeah, but I consider myself, my brain works best in the morning, and I want it to be more creative and fluid at night. So not rigid. So, maybe I'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to bake now." Or some, you know what I'm saying? It's more creative while it's more functional in the morning. So I always think, okay, this needs to get done, then this needs to get done. I'm not doing laundry at night. Laundry gets done during the day. There are just some things that the functional things I do better when I'm in the morning than I do at night. I read at night. I feel I could read during the day, but it just never happens. It just never happens. I never say, "Oh, you know what? I'm just going to take an hour and read." Although when I worked, lunchtime was always in my car reading. That I did. But again, I think I needed that fluid break so
Mm-hmm.
that my mind was like, oh, I'm creating, I'm thinking, I'm not this rigid, this, then this, you do laundry. It's like, you go take the clothes and put them in separate piles, put them in the washer, in 20 minutes, come back. You've got this whole plan. It's like this routine. You can't, although some men do this, although my mom used to do it. It's like, get the clothes, put them in the washer, forget all about it for 3 days. Where's my underwear? Oh, I forgot about it. I find laundry's a whole thing. I don't mind doing it. I like details. So that's another question. Are you really good at macro or micro? Or are you one of those multi people? Because I'm better micro.
I think I would say both, and depends what is micro for you or micro, and what things we referring to.
Well, the micro look is actually doing work. So, let's build a website. Okay. So you come up with that and you're like, okay, we're going to build a website. And then you walk out of the room. I'm done. We're building a website. I'm done. And then all the people, build the website. You've got your project manager and, everybody's doing. I'm better okay, Joy, you're going to be doing 5 landing pages and here's the content. Okay, that's me. I'm not the person saying, ooh, what kind of a landing page do we want? Ooh, I could do it. Uncomfortable, don't like doing it. And then saying, okay, Nancy, okay, Bob, okay, Louie, go do it. And then walking away from it. I can't walk away from it. I'm like knee deep in it. I need to be doing the micro. So I would never even try to be managing people because I'm more comfortable managing tasks.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm certainly I see the big picture and what needs to be done, and managing people is fine. As for doing actual work, again, depends on what you call actual work. If it's, doing something with, landing pages or something, usually I wouldn't like, it's not good kind of, spend of my time. Again, if
Right.
needed, I can do this because I have some, technical background as well, right? So I can, if I want, no, but if needed, then I can do it. Let's put it this way. If it would be my priority, the answer is no.
Yeah, I think that it's important for people to understand that because the manager that thinks micro is not a good manager because that's the micromanager that is in everything that you're doing. Well, when are you doing it? What time are you doing it? Well, let me tell you, let's rearrange your catalog, your calendar. Like, okay, whatever. That is a micromanager that drives me crazy. But the manager that basically hires you because they know that you could do your work, gives you the deadline, makes sure you has the resources. I mean, is looking at the big picture. That's what you need for success. You need all of those people in place. You need the manager to basically control the project, because at some point in time when you're working on it, and if you come to a point where it's not working, and you're like, I need to talk to somebody. This is not working. It's not going to work. I can't figure this out. I tried. I worked for 3 hours. I couldn't figure it out. I think it's time to stop and tell somebody I've got a problem. That's when the manager comes in and you're like, I have a problem. Here's where the problem is. So that the manager understands the micro, but is not involved in the micro and can solve the problem on a higher level. It's important. There's quite a bit of a difference. Quite a bit of a difference. And when you begin a business, you have to know who you are, and you have to want to do one or the other. If you're a solopreneur, you don't. Yeah, if you're a solopreneur, you don't have the opportunity. You've got to do both, which is why solopreneurship is difficult. But if you're an entrepreneur and you're building a business, you may be doing everything yourself at some point, and then you realize I have to outsource this and let it go.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
I mean, that's a success. That's a successful business, and that's also the difference between being an entrepreneur and a solopreneur. So a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur," but when somebody like Bill Gates and I can't remember his partner back when he was in the garage, building software, they were solopreneurs, but they were entrepreneurs because they realized we're not going to be doing this in 10 years. This is not what we want to do. We're building a business. So the concept is very different, very, very different.
Right. I agree.
So, are you traveling to conferences? Is this something that you like to do, once like to do, never want to do again?
Oh yeah, I like it. I mean, I'm actually going in July to MailCon in New York. So I will be speaking there about AI and email. So about conferences, so speaking, it's clearly outside of my comfort zone for sure. And I'm quite pushing myself in that sense. And many times, I'm thinking, okay, and I have an accent and maybe something, I'm thinking about myself too much or whatever. So it's different thoughts in the mind, but it's good because I remember you mentioned previously in music, right? Using hands, brain, and feet as well for pedals. So I remember when playing, those recitals or those tests or performances. Like I remember this feeling when your hands and feet shaking, and like you're supposed to, when you speak, at least. I mean, it's to you're nervous, whatever. But playing and when your feet and hands shaking, it's quite difficult, right? So like you really need to have this kind of control to overcome it, right? So it's I would say it's to push myself more, but I also enjoy the social part, meeting different people and learning as well, obviously, because it's also learning different new things. So because the space is constantly evolving, so it's important to be on top of on top of it.
I'm not a performer at all. So I get so nervous. I can remember recitals also. I can remember. I was not a good piano player. And I was in a few recitals and I can't remember. My sister played Green Sleeves. So I can't even remember. I have a feeling I did Liszt. I have a feeling that was the song that I played. The not the song, but the piece. It was Liszt. Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh gosh, I could. Dun 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 dun. Do you that is that Liszt?
Maybe.
I can't remember the
We can,
name.
Joy, we will take it offline. You will sing more for me.
Yeah, but it's not. I can play almost as well as I can sing. So in any case, so I played that piece, and while I loved the piece, I was a nervous wreck, no feeling at all. I could not turn fear into emotion and then play. And I realized, not for me. This is, I'm never going to get there. I can't think and play and emote and all of these things. It's not for me. And the same thing goes with performance, because I can't. I can be me on stage, totally me, no problem. That doesn't mean I've got a modus operandi. That doesn't mean I'm getting anything across other than whatever I'm thinking at the time. Very much similar to this show. What I do here, it's like, I don't know. What are you talking about? I don't know. I'm just talking. So, I'm not a performance person. I'm a one-on-one person. I know this. And so has it ever occurred to you that you enjoy going, that, you're saying you're pushing yourself for performance. Does it ever occur to you at any point in time, like, no, not going to do this again? Or you're like, no, I'm going to do this again. I'm going to keep going because I really enjoy the challenge. Like I didn't enjoy the challenge at all. It was like, oh, I'll never do this again.
No, I didn't say I never do this again. I just was saying to myself, maybe, I need to get better in this.
So you enjoy it. I had to, we all need to figure out how to work our skills out, right? So we all recognize something about ourselves at some point. It should be self-discovery. No one should need to tell you. So the only thing that you need to learn is how to take it to the next level to determine, oh, does this work? It's like an A/B test. Life is an A/B test. Like, oh, I think I'll do this. I'll do it this
A
way.
B C
That's
D
it.
E.
Yeah,
A B
really.
C D
That's it.
E test.
Plan B. Okay, plan B. Plan B didn't work. Plan C didn't work. Maybe I shouldn't keep doing this. It's not working. Okay, what's next? Totally go to the beginning again, something else. And this is how we iterate our lives. It's like if you're hitting your head against the wall and it hurts and you keep hitting yourself, it's like that's insanity. So we all know that. Stop doing it at some point, but you need to have the next thing. That's what we do. But we all need to recognize the basic skills that we have. For example, I never thought I was good in math. Never. When I was in high school, I flunked out of math, couldn't make it to calculus. I thought I wanted to go into biology, and then I realized you can't go into biology. You can't count. No. And so until I was in like 45 years old, it never occurred to me that I was good at math. But I wanted to go back to school for programming. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a problem because I'm going to need math. I aced it. Who'd have thunk? I aced. Suddenly I understood. So it's difficult to get a clear idea of what your talents are because you may not even realize that what happened to you in high school might not have any bearing on what's going on in your life as a whole. You may never have been good at math because you weren't good at competition and everybody else was jumping up and down and you never got the attention. Right? So, life is sort of, do you have any talents right now that you're thinking, this is something I want to, other than public speaking, something that you're thinking about doing that's, it's like, oh, you know what? I'm going there. I think I'm going to do that. Anything going on?
I really enjoy like design, interior design. Actually, years ago, after I finished university, like music degree, I wanted to go for interior design, but back then it was like again go to university, like getting architecture degree, and I just got my older one, I think, just was born, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing it now. But I really loved it, and I do still like it. I can do pretty a lot of things myself. I think for women more than a lot of women can do around, I mean, renovation and construction. And I actually did a lot of projects for kind of renovation flips and this. I really like. Yeah. So, but I think it's a part again of this creative side of the
I think we all need to
everything.
investigate that in ourselves. It's like,
Yeah.
let's play, let's play. Get the crayons out and let's play. Because, I know that there's something here and let's see where I could take it. And you can do that. You could be 85 years old. I really think so. Any last tips for the audience? Anything you could share? I'm putting you on the
Tips.
spot.
Okay. So it depends, right? What is audience, what they're looking for. But what many times you hear whoever, keep trying, not to give up, because many times people gave up, literally, almost seconds before they would have been successful. So many times, my point here, many times in business, in career, it could be moments like, I'm tired, and here offer of maybe going working for someone, or you have, some other options. and they're like, oh, whatever, I'm giving up. So not to give up, I feel it's like important quality, and just keep pushing. It would be, it will happen, hopefully.
I think, that goes along with discipline. So if you say you're going to do it, just do it, complete it.
Mhm.
And then, at the back end, say, don't want to do that again, but I did it. I did it. Right. So,
Yeah.
if you start something, finish it.
Mhm. That's for sure. But even, during the task, it's challenging, many things challenging those days, right, in life. So it's important to keep, and for sure, completing what you promised, that would be really important, for sure.
So where Malcon is in August? Did you say August? When is Malcon?
No, it's July 28th.
July 28th. All right. So you'll be in New York July 28th. So in Malcon. I'm in New York. We have to hook up. How long are you going to be here?
I'm flying, I believe, Saturday 27th. So Saturday I'm free, by the way, for it's Saturday, so we can have lunch. And I believe I'm flying back Tuesday morning, early morning.
Okay. We'll have to talk offline. Let's not
Okay.
make plans now.
All right.
Well, I thank you so much. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you. How
Thank
sappy
you.
is that?
Thank you so much, Joy. It was pleasure chatting with you. I always love our, discussions, business and otherwise. It was pleasure, and thanks everyone for listening to our kind of stories. Yeah.
Our fireside chat.
Yeah.
Well, that's a wrap, my friends.
Bye.